the episode, the last episode we did, I think it was the Pride episode. Um,
Mhm.
and it doesn't, the VOD doesn't start capturing. I don't know if it's going live, doesn't start actually broadcasting. It was a good minute or so.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
kind of creepy.
Um, hey, did you see a cop? What?
No, the answer is no. It's after work hours. Leave me alone.
Yeah, except it's my boss.
It's okay. I was answering calls at like 6 o'clock.
All right, we just went. We got the notification, so we should be live.
Very cool.
Oh no, the internet's here.
Yes, and natural.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Decisions and Dragons.
It's a good one. It's a good
Thank you. I tried. This is how it's going to be for the next minute or so, or until I lose my mind and fix my hair.
In the next 10 seconds.
Well, I was hoping for at least 30. So, when last we left off, our intrepid heroes had used a teleportate. Oh, you know what? Too late. Had used a teleportation circle through Gilmore's glorious goods to wind up in the city of Amon. They stepped out onto the road after having a brief conversation with the oh my god, employee.
Manager.
Thank you. Who was working the shop. Managed to get a little bit of information on who it is that they wanted to look for, or possibly make their way towards the docks. Who knows? But you step onto the road, find that the air is a little bit more cooled, given that you guys are closer to the sea. It is just before midday, so the sun is still kind of making its way up into the sky, and the city lays before you. What do you do?
If I remember correctly, we were here because we need to alert someone more important than ourselves as to what's going on with Gilmore
Yes.
and
we're
other
going to
world-shattering events that we've been alerted to.
Kind of stumbled
our-
into.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Woefully ill-equipped
Yeah.
to deal with.
Deal with. Yet somehow keep fumbling our way through. I have that we were heading to the inn, and Dermot was going to. He had gotten a description,
Mm-hmm.
so was going to try and send a message to see if the person
That's right.
we need is here
Okay.
or available.
Okay.
So we
Dermot, are you going to be attempting to send that message now, or are you going to wait until you get to the inn? So right now, you guys are essentially on the street, right outside Gilmore's Glorious Goods. There's lots of activity, lots of different people. You actually see that in the small glimpse of the city that you're in, you can see that the reclamation is going well. A lot of the city is still standing, but you can clearly see carts of large stone blocks being moved through. You see them accompanied by 5 or 6 big burly humanoid people, along with maybe 1 or 2 robed individuals as they are assisting with the repair of the city of Amon. The streets are a flurry of activity. It's almost like walking out of the train station in Chicago. There's just people kind of everywhere. What is the plan?
I think it would be easier to do this like once we find an inn or somewhere to sit down.
Okay. Also, I do have audio going through Roll20. So if the volume is too high, please keep me posted. So you said you were making your way towards the inn, correct?
I feel like that is a smart choice.
Okay. You take a gander and you recall the directions that the employee had given you towards the Laughing Lamia Inn. And after a good few minutes, I'd say about 10 or 15 minutes of walking, you're getting the scope of how crazy this city is. The towns that you've been to, other than Western is a little bit diverse, but it's not like a utopia where everybody can come and hang out. As you guys are walking through the city, there are
Perfectly nice
people.
town. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying. You can see all different kinds of people. You see families that are making their way through. You see farmers with carts. You just all different kinds of shapes, sizes. There's some tieflings, some gnomes, some halfling, a bunch of people everywhere. Arthea, your passive perception's insane, so I will give this to you. As you guys are making your way towards the Laughing Lamia Inn, you're about maybe a city, from what directions you were given, maybe a city block away. And you guys are carrying on your conversation. You actually spot, sort of sticking out like a sore thumb, a lithe, younger looking figure wearing a very loose hood on a cloak that has a quarterstaff that very clearly is attempting, like, I just wanted to. Okay, that's nice. Hi, I just wanted to. Can you just direct? Okay. And as you see that their head turns under the hood, you see blue skin. As they are trying to get anybody's attention.
About how far away are they?
They are, I'd say, across the street and down a way, so probably about 50 or 60 feet.
Ah. Between us and the inn?
The inn is farther, and it's on your side of the street.
Okay, so we would naturally end up walking past this
Yeah.
individual. Okay. Arthea is somewhat overwhelmed in the sense of so many people, so she's looking kind of everywhere at once.
Got it.
So her attention was going from, a family of tieflings that's scurrying by on one side to, oh my god, what is that in the window of this shop, to, oh, look at that poor woman over there, to somebody shouting from, hawking goods. And I think, yeah, she's got there's a lot of external stimulus right now. I mean, just because you perceive it does not mean it's necessarily useful or good.
True. It's very true.
And so she can only see just that, basically hood, quarterstaff, and blue.
Yes. Make me a
Tell her
perception.
anything?
What was it?
Would that tell her anything about the individual?
I would say if you wanted to learn a little bit more, make a perception check.
Okay. Back to a character that does not have this. That's really sad. Yeah, really sad coming from Ranger back to this. Yeah. 17.
17?
17.
With a 17, that'll be enough that as they turn, their cloak is not the heaviest cloak ever, okay? But you do notice every time they turn, their cloak tends to billow a little bit more than it should before it finally settles down, before they turn again, and their hood kind of billows a little bit, even though there's not really that much of a strong breeze going through the street.
Interesting. I think, well, she'll kind of wait until we get a little bit closer.
Okay.
And see whether or not, kind of keep an eye on this woman. And if they get flagged down, then she might respond. She's not going to make a beeline.
Okay, sounds good. You guys continue down the street, and as you get closer, so right at this point, like they're still trying to get anybody to pay attention to them on their side of the street. As you guys are essentially coming up on the corner that has the Laughing Lamia in, you can hear the music coming from inside the building. You can smell the freshly cooked food. You hear, "Hi, I just really." Oh, that's rude. That's rude. And then you see a big burly Goliath sort of like shoulder check the person, and their hood flies back. You see a blue-skinned Air Ganassi with a sort of mohawk tuft of hair that is silvery white that constantly is like billowing as though it's either underwater, like he's flying through the air. You can guess from his features that he is no more than maybe 15 years old. And he is knocked back a little bit and uses his staff to prop himself back up on his feet before he looks around and then pulls the hood back on. I'd say at this point, all of you guys see that's pretty painfully obvious.
I like the hair.
Shit, my brain just stopped.
Welcome
Sorry.
to Wednesday.
Welcome to Wednesday. It's been a very long Wednesday.
Hump day.
So we see this Ganassi.
Yes.
And we're fairly close at this point.
Yeah, you guys are 20 feet away.
Mm.
Do we see him now kind of trying to, like, is he
Catch
still...
He's his energy is wounded if that makes sense. But he's still
Wounded energy.
Yeah.
That's
No.
I know who this is. It's so him.
Yeah, that is
Um,
the correct descriptor.
Fun thing about
Um,
playing D&D is when you have really fun characters, you could just put them in other campaigns as NPCs.
You just make them
recycle them.
NPCs. It's great.
Yeah, and we can hear that he's like trying to like talk to people on the street and is just being ignored.
At this point, yeah, you guys are close enough. But at least you guys see the interaction. Whether or not Arathea wants to peg, like, yeah, he's not having the best luck.
Yeah.
And keeping an eye on him for, that's entirely up to you.
I think
Um,
once he gets knocked sort of aside in the very New York style that some people clearly are walking, that at that point she'll comment, but she's just gonna kind of like wince and be like, "Oh, it wasn't it's unnecessary."
After the further explanation from Arathea, Dermot's gonna walk right up to him.
Okay.
Greetings.
Hi.
You need help with something.
Yeah.
Oh, big eyes.
Where am I?
The city of Iman, Teldore. And I hold out a hand. Dermot O'Ferry. And you are?
Reshi, nice to meet you. Kind of like examines the hand and is not used to this greeting, so he's like,
It's not really a greeting that Dermot was raised using. This is like shaking hands to Dermot. Shaking hands is very much like a human thing.
So the most
Um,
awkward handshake.
oh yeah.
known
it's
to
the
the
worst.
city and all of Teldore. Just
Yeah.
awkward.
You can actually see that even he's obviously exhibiting Air Ganassi characteristics, but his ears do come to a point, giving you the hint that he was born an elf, and then something happened. So yeah, he's like, yeah.
Is there somewhere you needed to be that's not here?
Sure, yeah. That's fair. That's a good way to put it.
Uh, where were you supposed to be?
I can't remember the name of the town. It was supposed. Well, I guess this is okay because it's on the sea and can go on a boat. There's I don't know how to explain it. My master is very cryptic with their descriptions of where I'm going or being pushed to. There's city.
Masters often are.
Yeah, great. There's a city on the water.
Why don't you walk with us? We're trying to find an inn or tavern or some place to sit down. Perhaps we can find you more information there.
Well, if you're gonna go to that one, it's pretty jam packed. They actually had to turn me away because it's quite full. Apparently, there's some sort of contest, but
Contest?
I turn back to Faraday.
No.
A contest, you say?
like before you even
Absolutely
said
not.
anything, Arathea's like, no.
And Thurston's just like,
You're on your own for this one.
No, don't tell her that. She will go.
She's just standing there holding a
Without
sword
us.
staff, like, are you guys like a band?
no.
Fiona's 5.
No,
No.
that is not what we're called.
They're still
Okay.
syndicate about the name.
Okay, not maybe Fiona's 5, not
Probably not.
I put my arm around him and say, "Stick with us, kid. We'll be
Okay.
okay."
This is great. Oh, sure, that's
And I
fine.
lead everybody into the bar across the street.
All right. And you guys walk. Reshi kind of like stumbles as he's trying to like walk in tandem with Dermot as you're kind of pushing him. You guys approach the front doors of the bar and see a rather lavishly constructed 2-story inn and tavern with a very nice sort of sign out the front. It's got open windows, sort of revealing this nice, warm, welcoming atmosphere. And from inside, you can hear that there is some music playing. However, as you approach the doors, you see a pair of Goliath who sort of stand with their arms crossed, and one of them, tribal tattoos going up one side of their face, grunts towards all of you. Bar's full. Max capacity, city's orders.
Something going on.
Even for competitors.
You're a combat. Of course you're a competitor. He says as he eyes Fiona. The other Goliath's like, they seem kind of fun.
Trust me, we're nothing but fun.
Yeah, well, all competitors have already signed up, so sorry, kids.
If you don't mind me asking, what is the competition?
It's a music competition or something. I don't really care.
Or something?
A performance I watched the door, man. I don't know what you want from me.
Well, we were hoping to secure a table and a few rounds of drinks while we were exploring the city. Is there any other establishment nearby that you could suggest for us?
You could try the rusted cudgel, but you might want to hold on to your purse.
That
Anything
can I make
between,
an insight
two?
check?
like, maybe a nice middle ground?
Oh, Rhodes, you complete me. Dermot, go ahead and roll your insight check.
Like, I just want to get like a general feel for, like what this dude's about and like how bad this interaction is likely to go. With a 19.
19. With a 19, the one who's talking very much is just like, move along. I have nothing for you. Leave me alone. The one next to them, you're gauging body language. They're looking almost expectantly at all of you. Not necessarily as standoffish, but they're almost like expecting there's something that needs to happen first before they can really join the conversation. Not like they're ready for a fight, they're just kind of like waiting to see what you guys do.
Okay. I see the expectant look, and I am going to
Never a good thing when he has to look at his character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am going to just reach into my coin purse, and I'm gonna, in a friendly, non-threatening way. Actually, I would like to roll sleight of hand for this as well.
Okay.
I am going to, as we're talking and going back and forth, I'm gonna reach a hand into my coin purse.
Okay.
Oh, fuck yeah. Natural 20 for a 23 sleight of hand.
Okay.
I am going to palm 4 gold coins and 4 silver into the bouncer's hand.
Thinking of the logistics
And-
of like the size of coin. It's not like
Yeah.
The noise
Goliath hand.
from a satyr
a
hand.
Peter hand.
That's true.
You know, 90% of sleight of hand is all showmanship, where you're looking
On
over
this
here
direction.
and something happens in this hand.
You just
Look over
slide
here,
it
look
like
over here.
into
Bam.
his back pocket directly.
Yeah.
And I hold his hand as I palm the coins into his hand and say, "Are you sure you can't find just one table for us?"
You see, actually, you know, I knew I was forgetting something. He's getting my dice.
Good job playing D&D with no dice.
Okay, all right. The one who's been speaking kind of rolls his eyes as you reach for his hand. And he's like, ugh, all right, and then you do the handshake, and then he feels something, and then he's surprised. Like you see this visual, like, the fuck did he fit all that in his hand? The other one eyes the interaction, and you can see that they smirk. I'll go find him a table, and then they turn and start making their way inside. It was just for me, right? Not for them.
What you do with your hard-earned earnings is entirely your decision.
All right, go quick. I don't want any of the.
And
Sure.
I, just before I let go of his hand, I shake it a little. Dermot O'Ferry, by the way. A pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure. And you see that they whisk the coins away and then wipe their hand. And then they step aside and they kind of like gesture you in. Stepping inside, you can see a large room that has about 15 tables with all chairs being moved around. This is a very cluttered but very popular hotspot. That in the center, up against the wall, you actually see a large stage. Up on the opposite side of the room, you can see a large bar with several bartenders kind of sort of flinging drinks left and right. And you can see 2 sets of staircases that lead up to the second floor, where there's a small balcony that overlooks the stage. It's kind of like a crazy like concert hall sort of thing. It looks like it got converted into an inn at some point. As with the streets of Amman, there's just people everywhere. You're essentially going to a concert. Congratulations. That's the density of how many people are in here. And as you guys are making your way through, following the Goliath, Reshi's like, "Oh my god, there's so many."
Mm-hmm.
Oh god. Okay.
But latch on to
eventually-
like Pad's bag.
Okay, kids, follow the leader.
Mm-hmm. Like
Uh-huh.
Conflor.
The
style.
Conflor style.
Eventually, the Goliath does lead you to a small table, like a cocktail table, with no seats around it. It's kind of tucked away in like the back right corner of the room, somewhat near the bar, which is kind of handy. It says, "It's the best I got for you, but enjoy yourselves." And
I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
you playing?
I would sure like to.
All right.
Where do I sign up?
I'll let them know. You said your name was Dermot, right?
Dermot O'Ferry.
Right. You see they kind of shake their head and then make their way through the crowd of people, and you can see that they lean over the bar after flagging one of the bartenders, and you see a human woman, darker, sort of Marquesian skin tone, with long red hair, with a sort of half bandana thing, sort of lean forward, and you see that they have a hushed conversation, and she looks over in your direction. She shrugs and then gives a thumbs up to you. You guys have this small cocktail table, and there are people everywhere. What are you doing?
Wondering how I got into this situation.
You fu-
just
Again.
now?
Yeah, just
Okay.
now or like the past like 6 weeks, cause
Yes.
I mean, the answer is probably the same for both.
yeah.
Dermot opened his big mouth, and now we're in the middle of a giant party.
Yeah.
To be fair, we could be in the middle of a giant party at the Rusted Cudgel, which is probably a less fun party.
Probably.
Guys, we should really start frequenting a different echelon of establishment.
I thought that's what we did. Our alternative was called the Rusted Cudgel.
Amman's a really large city. I'm sure we had even more alternatives. But this place seems okay. I'm just, in general, just a statement.
As you
Just
say
saying.
that, you just
Oh,
hear,
that's so
"Look what
much.
I could do." And you see somebody take like a peanut and they do this, and it goes into their mouth. And like, "Yeah, right." And their friends are like, "You're a fucking idiot." We're not. It's no. Did you want to send your message?
Yes.
Okay.
I will take a minute to calm myself, kind of picture what I think Allura Visorin looks like in my mind, and I will use the Sending Stone. And I say, Allura Visorin, I am Dermot O'Ferry. We urgently seek an audience regarding a mutual acquaintance, Sean Gilmore. Please reply to this message.
Okay. You wait for a moment, and eventually, you do hear a voice in response. "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't believe we've met. I'm sort of indisposed for the time being." I have to think about my words. Are you in Iman? and then
Can I reply to their response?
you have to use another sending.
How many of those do I get? 3?
3.
I think I get 3.
Yeah, I think it was 3 per dawn or long rest. Or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yes, 3 times per day.
Okay.
I will cast sending again
Okay.
and say, actually, what's the name of this establishment?
The Laughing Lamia Inn.
Okay. I cast it again and say, yes, we just arrived in Iman. We're staying at the Laughing Lamia Inn.
As you're saying this, you definitely hear Reshi. You see Reshi stare at you and go, "Oh, you talk to yourself too. That's interesting."
Well, he does, but not at this moment. It's okay.
Okay.
You can reply to this message.
Okay. You get another reply. Oh, well, isn't that interesting? I will meet you when the festivities have finished.
This chick is hell bent on burning all the sending we've got.
We cast it a third time. We hope to be competing, so we'll be here. What time of day is it?
It's approaching midday.
All day. Hope to see a courier soon. I can't reply to more messages. And that's 23.
You get one more message. Oh, I apologize. I forget. Resources. I look forward to the performance. You do hear this lingering question mark at the end. We will talk later. I hope that's. I don't even know if that was 25 or not. But
I think that was less than. You're good.
Yeah.
I feel like DMs get a pass for that, unless they decide they don't want to.
yeah. So, Reshi says, "Okay, so like, totally cool with getting me into a bar. That's super helpful. Thank you. I need
Just
to,
got an underage kid into a bar.
Samantha, we have gotten underage children into places they shouldn't have before.
You're not wrong.
I mean, what exactly is the age? We might be the underage children.
Yeah, he looks like an elf, right? If
True.
he looks 15, he's probably like 1,000 years old.
Wow. Wow. Anyway, says, I kind of feel like I need to keep asking around. Do they have wine? Is that wine over there? Maybe I should have. No. Focus. Do you guys know of a city on the water? That was the only real description he gave me.
I mean, this city's on the water. You mean like
meant, like,
floating on the water, or do you mean like next to?
I think knowing him and his stupid cryptic way of speaking, I think it was like on.
Like literally on.
Yeah.
Do we know
Yeah, well,
anything?
then.
City on
Yeah.
the water.
Do
Like
you
from
need, like, a
traveling?
history for that, or
Yeah.
Roll me a history check.
A geography.
Nope, Faraday knows nothing.
Yeah, you remember
Which
that
kinda
person
tracks.
Wasn't good at that in school. He's not good at it.
He's
10.
still not good at that. History 18.
There it is. The smart one.
17.
17. Nice. All right. So for a 15 and above, you do know of a city that is devoted to the water Ashari, named Vesra. It is in the middle of the Osmit Sea, but that would probably fit the closest description to what Reshi is saying.
I mean, the only city on the water that I'm aware of is Vestra.
Oh, okay. And you see he quickly pulls out like a pad of paper, like flips through some pages. Vesra.
Who is he and what are you looking for?
Oh, Master Arhu. He's one of those. The world is ending. Conspiracy theorists. So he kind of. It's like he feels disturbances and then he just kind of sends me places, and I kind of try to sort them out. I'm new to this.
Clearly, what exactly did he feel? She's
Um,
at this point looking at him very intensely.
You see he kind of like shrinks back slightly. He said that wait. He flips back. Wait. You see as he flips back, there are like doodles and like small little like poem things, and then he flips back. Okay. There's he's essentially okay. I'm gonna try and translate this. Like a tsunami unheard of in creation.
That tracks.
Basically, city on the water. I think he thinks it's gonna sink.
Okay, and
He flips back for a couple. There was he knows of a great beast that is in the sea that may have met its match. I don't know what the hell that means.
did he say anything else? Any plane shifting or anything of that nature?
He did mention the elemental plane of water, but not as the place to go. He was really hinting to go to the city. But when he put me into the teleportation circle, it may not have been calibrated correctly. So here I am. Yay!
Or perhaps he got you to the closest place possible. You would be able to take a ship from here.
Oh, cool.
What exactly does he expect you to do about all of this?
Save people. He said that it's sort of like a pilgrimage thing, and in order for something to happen, I need to do the most good. So he sends me places where I can do the most good, and if that means I'm saving a kitten in a tree or stopping a city from sinking, kind of my job.
He just sort of dumps you out in these places with no real information.
Well, he says it's kind of part of the trial. If I can adapt to any situation I'm thrown in, then I can be a better sorcerer and a person.
When
are
Arthea
you?
asks that question, I kind of look at her quizzically. Does that really strike you as odd? Isn't
Yeah.
go out into the world, figure it out? That doesn't sound familiar in any way.
No.
Not really. I mean, there's go out into the world and see the sights, and then there's go stop this tsunami.
I mean, he couldn't even get past a pair of Goliaths in the middle of the street, so yeah, that strikes me as a little odd that it's expected he could stop a whole tsunami and the
So
burden
that
of the beast and all of that.
I guess
Right.
unless it's
I'm sure you're
metaphorical
very
tsunami.
capable. Thurston just kind of like pats his hand.
How old are you, kid?
15.
I mean, aren't you an elf?
I was born an elf, and then something happened. And here we are. You see, his energy changes when you mention his, like, prior life. So, what kind of drinks do you think are good here? Not that I'm getting one, I'm just kind of curious.
You can't even order a drink. You might want to stick with juice.
Okay, but if I didn't want to stick with juice, hypothetically,
I'll find you something, Faraday says.
Okay.
And like she's
Okay.
kind of been like antsy, like there's this very important conversation going on, but like there's so many people and like she's been quiet, like thinking about like, okay, he's talking about this big huge thing that's going on, and like she was kind of she was paying attention when like that like lore dump that they got of like, hey, the world might be ending, just FYI. So
Not
like
quite in spring yet either at that point.
yeah, we were still on like responsible
End of
Faraday
winter.
at that point. End of winter, we were still kind of good. But like the idea of like balance shifts and like a giant tsunami doesn't really like
Not good.
that feels kind of like a balance shift, perhaps. So she's been trying to pay attention, but like just like with that sensory overload of being out in this huge city, like being in a crowd, this is probably the crowdest place that they've like kind of been.
yeah. This
I mean, Amon is huge.
Yeah, so like even the like Quincy's, like the place under Quincy's was crowded, but it wasn't like wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder. So like this is like, and the just like the eclectic kind of group here
right.
too.
Yeah.
So like she's trying to pay attention, she really is, but it's like real hard to focus. And she immediately like she's like, I'll go get his stuff, and like bounds away.
Okay, thank you.
Get 6.
And she'll go to the bar and order like, if she can get to the bar even.
I would say make me an acrobatics check.
Yeah, that's a good call. I've been in a crowded bar before.
Yeah.
Let's see who is going to fail me today. Not you. 24.
Nice.
Yeah.
You sort of work your way in between people, not even with the excuse me, sorry, whatever. You just like sneaking between people, like playing Assassin's Creed and just like moving in between crowds. And with the 24, you like squeeze in between two people, and you end up flagging down the red-haired lady.
Perfect.
And she turns and says, "Oh, what can I get? What can I? Oh, your hair is very pretty.
Oh, thank you.
What can I get you?"
She counts in her head and she looks over at the group again and says, yeah, any kind of wine is fine. 3 meads. 1, 2, 3, 4.
She like takes out a piece of paper.
3 meads. A water. And 1 more wine. Please.
You definitely see her eyebrow raise with the water, but she eventually like scurries off and gets all of the drinks together.
Verity's not stupid. She's hedging her bets.
While she's doing that, you just turn to your right and you just see this human man, full on passed out on the bar top, with a tankard that is 2/3 empty. And the snoring is almost louder than the crowd around you. But eventually, on a small tray, the bartender comes back and says, "Good luck," and then places them down and says, "It's going to be 3 gold total."
I pass 4 over to her.
Thank you. And she like pokes the human.
I think he's still sleeping. I'm kind of surprised he's still sleeping.
He falls asleep everywhere. Yeah, go have fun and tell your friend they're probably pretty sure they're going to start in about 5 minutes.
At this stage?
Yes, big stage.
Thank you.
No problem.
And she'll pick up the tray and kind of like Tai Chi her way through.
I would say, given that the difficulty is now raised, I will need another acrobatics check.
Okay, watch her drop all of them, you guys. Wasted that 18. 15.
Okay. I would say
That's
as
okay.
you're
Not as great.
sneaking through, there is one gnome who's not paying attention and totally like turns and goes, "Ah!" And like you both have this moment where like only the water falls.
Hey,
It
good.
falls and spills on the ground, but everything like teeters for a hot second before it finally settles back down on the prey. Sorry. Oh, I'm coming. And then they meander themselves away.
And I'll make my way back to the table. I set it down. I lost one on the way here, but that's okay. Help yourselves. I got meat and wine.
Reshi like flinches for a second, but then like expectantly looks at and Court. Like,
I'm not your mother, kid.
I push a wine over to Reshi.
actually, he does this.
You hold it, and he like and Thurston picks up the other wine glass. It's like this. You don't need 2 hands. It's just very very casual. Just underneath, hold the
man.
stem.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Do I look?
You will.
do I look- Hmm?
Yes, you will stand out less if you hold the glass correctly.
Oh, okay. You see, he's trying to look the part. Just as you hear a augmented voice speak out over the crowd, "Ladies and gentlemen," and you see starting to make their way onto the stage, holding a wand to their neck, is a half-elven man with short cropped hair, and you can tell he's really done a lot to make sure he's looking dressed to the nines. Are we ready for the competition to begin? And you hear "Bah!" Everybody like cheers, and you know what you thought was loud before, then you just feel the heat of everybody's breath going through at the same time. Well, wonderful. I will need all the competitors to make their way to the stage so we can get this show on the road. And they remove the wand, and you see this teeny little like glint around their throat fade away. And pushing through the crowd, you see a couple people. You see another human male. I'd say mid-20s or so. He's got sandy brown blondish hair, and he is wearing a very nice doublet that's adorned with all this very beautiful filigree, who is also carrying a violin. you see a half orc slam a shot at the bar, and she stands up and then reaches down and picks up what looks to be a large glass jar, and she starts making her way through, and she's wearing hide armor. She did not give a shit. She's just like ready to go. Basically, she looks, you can't tell if the glass jar is a weapon or if it's her instrument, but she's sort of stomping her way through and like knocking people over as she does. And then you see a gnome that Faraday recognizes.
Hey.
She has blonde hair that's kept in a high ponytail, and she has a pan flute as she is making her way, like trying to sneak through people to make her way towards the stage. Dermot.
That appears to be my cue. Wish me luck.
Good luck.
And I
Good luck.
and I twirl Fiona's bow in my fingers like it's a drumstick.
As you start
As
moving
I
away,
sashay from the table.
as you sashay from the table, in addition to the good lucks from your compatriots, you do hear a good luck. You look around. Nobody else is looking at you.
I will just give the room a smile and make my way towards the stage with all the other competitors.
Okay. The host, MC, whatever you want to call them, I just totally slapped the microphone. Sorry about that. Says, "All right, I will need names and chosen instrument. We will have a band sort of accompany if they are aware of the song that you're playing. So let's start with you." And he looks right at you, Dermot.
Dermot O'Ferry, and I tip my hat. Playing an original piece on the violin and the pan flute.
Violin and the pan. You know what?
And I
Enjoy
give them a wink.
it. Well, all right then. You and the gnome says, hi, my name's Lindsay, and I'm gonna be playing, and they give like a song title. I fucked up as a DM, guys. I don't have a song ready to go. And I just have my pan flute, and then she kind of instinctively looks at Dermot like, "Really, motherfucker?" And wonderful, wonderful. And you, and she, or the MC looks at the half orc, says, "Original piece, glass jar." Right. And you, sir? Oh, wonderful to meet you. My name is Ari Jr. I am known throughout these parts as the best bard in the land. I will be gracing this room with an original piece of my own, but sticking with what I'm specialized for. And he gestures to his violin. Right. And you see the MC does sort of favor Ari Jr. with a little bit of a lingering, like, look of recognition. Right. Well, your pieces will be judged by the White Duke himself. He is actually, if you want to play to the crowd, he is right up there. He points at the second story, where sitting right up against the balcony, you can see a humanoid figure wearing a white, almost like trench coat, but it's like a fancier coat. You can see long, silver hair sort of peeking up over this beautifully made silver and white adorned mask that sort of, it's almost like a masquerade sort of style mask. They are sort of seated with a glass of wine at a similar cocktail table, but it is just them. As they sort of do one of these to regard you all. And the MC says, "All right, well, pardon me while I decide who goes first." Right, starting things off with a bang, I'm sure. We have, I didn't get your name, Mrs. I apologize. She says, "That's fine, I don't want to give it." And as they push their way onto the stage, and as they do, the crowd instinctively claps and cheers a little bit, and then quiets down as the half-orc stands on stage and then looks off stage, steps over, grabs a stool out from somebody's butt, places it, and let's see what they do. Good. Good.
Oh no.
It's fitting right on par. The half-orc, confident as the day is long, half sings, half drums, and half blows into the glass jar in a... rhythmic is a strong word. Chaotic collection of sounds that a lot of people are sort of unsure if they should be clapping along, should they be staying silent. The rest of you are kind of unsure as to who this is for, per se, but it goes on for a solid 4-5 minutes of sound before eventually it stops, and then the half-orc stands and then goes, "You clap now." And then, like, pretty much the first, like, 3 rows in front of the stage immediately start clapping because just out of fear, and the rest of the room sort of follows suit. The MC comes back on stage. "Thank you, lovely lady, for that wonderful opening performance. Up next, we have Mr. Dermot O'Ferry to grace us with an original piece."
Yay!
You do actually hear not only your own cheers, but you actually do hear a few other people throughout
Hey.
that clap along. Dermot.
I take the stage and say I would like to perform an original piece, although I will need some help. And I look to the empty space beside me and say, "If you would be so kind," and I will cast Major Image to create a duplicate of myself.
Awesome. You gesture almost like a bow, and as you do, swirling up from the ground is this image of Dermot, mimicking or mirroring from the opposite side the same pose.
So Major Image exists in a 20-foot cube. Sight, sound, smell.
Yep.
The illusory copy is playing the pan flute and
Okay.
is going to provide the rhythm and with
rhyme.
yes the rhythm and the beat with the stomping of his hooves.
Nice. Awesome.
And I am going to throw this out there. Is a song that I kind of have in mind, which you are welcome to look up on YouTube, although I can't play it here because Twitch and copyrights and all of that fun stuff. But for anybody
Yes.
watching, the song is called "Courtin' in the Kitchen" by a band called Gaelic Storm. It is an Irish folky kind of jam, and it features the violin heavily, and it's fantastic.
Nice. All right. Go ahead and make me a performance check with advantage.
Okay. I am gonna throw this out there. I am also going to be casting Fairy Fire on the area around myself and part of the first row of spectators.
Let me just double check a thing. Is Fairy Fire concentration?
Fairy Fire is, but Major Image is not.
Really?
Actually, no, Major Image is. I don't know what
Okay.
I was looking at earlier. So I don't do that. The Major Image is far more important than Fairy Fire. No, Pyrotechnics is the other spell that I was thinking of. That does not require concentration. So I will be using Pyrotechnics to give myself kind of like a smoke screen of sorts, and some accent special effects.
Jesus Christ. All right. You already have advantage.
I am just
I get
doing
you.
what
I totally
Dermot
get you.
does.
Yeah. If anything, it lowered the DC in my brain.
That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay.
Garbage.
That was like garbage.
I rolled a 10.
Oh yeah,
got
you have a
one.
plus. Yeah. Ooh.
Jesus Christ. God damn it, Katie. So you perform your piece, and in short order, everybody is clapping and stomping along to the rhythm to kind of add to the atmosphere. And you guys can just feel the excitement and the crowd just continue to be enthralled with what's happening on the stage. And Dermot, as you are performing, you do catch sight of the other competitors. Well,
Mhm.
the gnome and the human. The half-orc went back to the bar. But you do catch that Lindsay is absolutely laughing and like clapping along, totally having a great time. Ari Jr. has this sort of shit-eating grin on his face as he witnesses and does a little bow as you continue your piece. And as it finishes, you definitely hear the whole place go up in energy as everybody's just like clapping and applauding, and they're tipping and hollering, all of it. They're going wild for you. And the MC returns on stage. One more time for Dermot O'Ferry and also Dermot O'Ferry. And everybody cheers once again.
I know that
The
guy.
two Dermots tip their hats to each other and then give a big bow to the audience.
Cute. Yeah, well done. As you make your way off of the stage, eventually the second Dermot does fade from sight. Given that to me.
He actually disappears in a cloud of flower petals that drift out over the crowd.
Nice. Love it. And as you make your way off the stage, the MC says, "Up next, we have the musings of one gnome." Wait, no, hold on. I didn't roll. Doesn't matter. Of one gnome, Lindsay, playing a song called blah. And she sort of, as you guys sort of like pass each other, and she goes, "Well, now I gotta follow that, you jerk. That was awesome, no.
Good luck. I'll be cheering for you.
Please do. I don't know how much I'm gonna get." And then she like makes her way on stage.
I am going to try and get like into the crowd a little bit.
Okay.
Like off the side of the stage, like into, where most people are.
Okay. Lindsay plays on her pan flute, and it's decent, but you're definitely kind of feeling like the crowd kind of like, okay, like it's a slow burn to get them into the song, and you can't tell if that's because you 100% killed the crowd before she got on stage, or if it's because she looks a little on the nervous side. But she does finish her song and give it a little curtsy.
It is the song something that I can either A, clap along with to help get the crowd going, or B, use one of my magical tinkering objects to light a lighter. If either of those two things are appropriate, I do the more.
Right. I would say, given the jovial atmosphere, she would probably have gone in that same vein. So it's definitely something you can clap to.
Okay. I will clap along and stomp my foot and try to get the crowd into it as well.
Okay. Make me a persuasion check. I'll say with disadvantage.
13.
13. 13, you get a solid chunk of the crowd getting into it a little bit more than the rest. And
Yeah, I imagine there's a few people nearby where I'm standing
Yeah.
that are kind of getting into it.
And she does eventually finish her song, give a little curtsy, and she gets a decent applause, but nothing world-shattering or anything like that. And as she makes her way off the stage, she's still smiling, but you can tell she's like, dang it. And the MC gets on stage and says, now, for my for the finale of our little competition, we have the best bard in all the land, one Ari Jr. And then they sort of bow and like you see the lights actually dim a little bit in the room. And soon the only real solid light source is the light coming from the windows on the outside. And you see
I
Ari.
do all of my special effects on my own. This guy's got the house in his back pocket.
You see Ari sort of lift this similar stool that the half-orc was using earlier and place it in the center. And they wordlessly just bow. And you can definitely hear some like chatter like, oh my god, I can't believe we're getting to see him to perform. I know, I've always wanted to see him. Do you think that why didn't he ever join the Ben Mez? Like just lots of conversation happening that all silence. He sits on the stool and begins to play this somber, emotional piece that at first it's so faint that people almost have to strain to hear it, but they're interested, they're intrigued. And as he continues to play, you can actually start hearing, strangely, almost what sounds like a second violin playing as he continues his song. And this song swells and just it's like a roller coaster. And
You get a nat 20.
by the end of this beautiful, beautiful piece, you see that they stand and they rise and they give another bow, and the applause is not as thunderous as it was for Dermot because people are wiping their faces from tears. Like people were like moved by this performance, and the MC steps on stage. Ari is still standing there, and they're like very visibly are wiping tears. And they say, "I'm pardon me by saying so. That was breathtaking." Well, everybody, we will hand out handkerchiefs if you need them. By all means, the bar is still open. We will deliberate. I will deliberate with the White Duke to determine who is the winner of today's competition. And as they move away, the lights slowly come back up, and Reshi is like, "Oh my god." I don't really listen to a whole lot of music, but whew, that was intense. Arthea. Again, because your passive perception is ridiculous. This is not something that sticks out like a sore thumb. As the performance was going on, you did see a teeny bit of movement, almost like flitting, like in between groups of people before disappearing. You couldn't quite peg what it was. It almost looked like a bug or something was just flying through. But it kind of caught your eye, and it specifically would move in between groups of people and then sway out, and then move into another group of people and then move out. And it was this teeny little fleck of something moving in between everybody.
At what height? Like above their head?
No, it was pretty much just below shoulder height. So you could kind of see it moving between groups, in like keeping an eye on it, moving your head between groups of people around you.
Do I still see it?
Make me a perception check at this point.
Ooh. 23.
23. As the lights come back on to their full brightness, you can see Ari Jr. again give another bow as people are still just showering him with praise. And you think for a quick second, you see a similar little flick of whatever it is fly into his pocket.
Did you see that?
What?
Like a firefly? Tiny little. It was zipping around while he was playing.
No.
Seems a bit early in the day for there to be fireflies out.
A little early in the season. It's still kind of
That
cold
as
too.
well.
I mean, I don't know if it was, but it's like a tiny little. You didn't see it going through the crowd.
I don't think so.
I didn't see anything. And then you see Reshi take another sip of their wine.
Would it be something that she would, I guess, assume is natural, as in a creature, a bug, a something, or something arcane, similar to what Dermot did? Something kind of conjured up to.
Make me an insight check.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yes, we'll never know now.
We'll never know now.
What happened?
Are you good?
Yeah, don't know what that was.
Interesting.
Discord was just like, no, and then just ended the call.
Hang up.
It was probably our
hell?
our storms. Insight 17.
17. The movements of this thing were very focused on getting into groups of people, leading you to believe that it wasn't necessarily something as natural as a firefly.
Okay. Something directed, or at least with some
Exactly.
kind of direction. Or
It was
intent.
moving with purpose through the crowd.
Interesting. No, it seemed to be, I don't know, zipping around. Mostly those little sort of clumps, groups, and then right at the end, went back up to the stage. I mean, I've never seen Dermot do anything like
No, that normally his magic while performing stays around him for the most part. It doesn't wander like that.
What would we know about other creatures from the Feywild?
Oh, I've always wanted to go to the Feywild.
I mean, you guys are from there. Do you not know of anything?
Well, my family is from there. I've never been. Takes another sip of water.
Are you Faraday?
Kuja, would she know anything, having been where she was?
Make me an
History?
make me a history check with advantage.
16.
16. You know of a teeny tiny little thing called a pixie that some are just rambunctious and like playing pranks, others are materialistic. But with the description that Arathea has given you and its focused movements, you're pretty sure that it could be something like a pixie.
Those
Does things fly around us?
the
Our table?
they're a pretty big group.
I would say, given your position at like the back of the room, no, it actually did not approach you guys.
It may have
Need to look.
been a pixie. Or shit, what's the other one? Pixies or what are the ones that would go really fast?
Sprite?
Sprites.
No, it's not Sprite. Quicklings.
Oh, quickly?
Yeah. They're all over the Feywild.
Do they
Could
do
be-
anything? Are they
Cause-
harmless?
No, they're far from harmless. Although, most times their fun is... Depends on the pixie. Sometimes they're a little innocent. They don't outright maul anybody, but they don't care about having victims either.
I mean, you said you saw it going from group to group.
Well, over there. Mostly. Mostly where it's a little more crowded up toward the stage.
Speaking as somebody that can blend in well and not be seen, if I was doing that, I would be stealing things.
You think he was using the pixie while he was playing?
Make a few extra coins. Or not really make so much as just take.
Was Dermot up by the stage when that thing was?
Dermot kind of positioned himself in the crowd, and I kind of envisioned him sort of like in front of the stage.
I wouldn't think that I would get super close to the like front and center.
Oh, okay.
I figured that I was like towards the front but off to one side.
Got it. So I'd say you were close enough to the stage.
Maybe you should check your pockets, Dermot, just in case.
But-
Would one Feywild creature just steal from another one?
I don't think the same rules apply here.
I don't. I mean, I
And-
don't discriminate between humans and other celestials and fey creatures.
I mean, I didn't know if there was some kind of code or something.
Mm,
The idea that the
A
Feywild
code
is
among fake
I think the only code
I
is
mean,
if you
never
see
said I
something, you want
Understood.
something, you take something.
I never said
No.
it makes sense.
not necessarily. The Feywild runs by a very specific set of rules. But those rules are kind of always very fluid.
Where's the
And
guy now? I'm
it's
sorry, I didn't
mostly
hear what you said.
non-existent.
What was that, Court?
Where is the guy now? I'm sorry, I didn't hear where you said he was.
He eventually did make his way off of the stage to return to his table, where you can see you could, with how many people were in here, it was difficult to see before, but he has his own like groupies
Of course.
that are like fawning over him, like, oh my god, it was so beautiful, I cried so hard, and he's like, yes, I know, I am brilliant.
I could go see what I can find out.
I mean,
Is Dermot missing anything?
Make me an investigation check.
Nope. Everything seems to be here.
Oh,
What'd you
buddy.
get?
7.
Okay.
I have my pack, coin purse if it's there or not.
Okay.
And the quiver.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the majority of your things, but the specifics, you're pretty sure you've got everything.
do pixies do anything
Um,
else, or do they just kind of?
Joe,
Yes.
for what it's worth.
Oh, I've got your character pulled up. I know exactly.
For what it's worth, anything in the bag of quiver, you have to specifically be thinking of in order to pull it out.
Yeah.
I think I have the bag of holding that. So
Do
it would
I
be your
not
quiver.
bag
I have the bag of holding. I think you have the quiver.
Oh, I only have the quiver.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a thing.
I don't know if Pixie, depending on the Pixie, if it's in a partnership with somebody else, they mostly like to cause mischief, but I feel like that stealing from a crowded room is gonna cause enough mischief.
Arathea,
Huh?
you remember that invisibility spell you were trying to learn?
Which one?
I mean, I'm just wondering if you can.
Can I? Very good question.
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah, I didn't put that
Um,
one in my book today.
no, it's
Heard of that?
I've heard of it, but
odd story with that.
here's the
you
thing.
can- as she like pulls, she's gonna pull out her book.
It's been a while. I just can't honestly remember out of character if you.
It's not so much greater invisibility, no, because I haven't taken it yet. But I have the regular kind. I just need to check whether or not I can cast it on anyone other than myself.
You should be able to.
It's a class feature.
Oh, so you might not be able to.
I mean, sorry, a racial. So I might
So maybe
be able
not.
to. No, myself only. So yeah, I can go invisible.
I mean, I have light. That's the only spell I have. So, you
That
know.
would have been a biggest fuck you to Ari Jr. Like, oh, it's dark. Just kidding.
Fucking yeah.
And I can make
Too dark, guys.
multiple of you. I think.
Let's just-
I can.
See what happens.
I will.
He's
Okay.
cheating, though. I mean, could he cheat with the pixie? Is that a thing they can do? Can they like whisper in people's ears?
I don't know if he was well,
You saw it darting
Maybe.
into clumps in the crowd, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean,
People that might not be paying attention to their bags.
nobody was paying attention.
I mean, is it possible that they're not working together and the pixie just saw an opportunity? And he looks around. I'm sure
Do you believe in
that
coincidences,
happens
Thurston?
here. I believe in the sort of establishments that we tend to find ourselves in.
Something off about that guy.
I mean, mostly just his ego. I mean, like Dermot's confident, but not. That guy was just
Well,
like. I mean, like the music was nice. Music was lovely, but then at the end there was. She gave that smile, and it was kind of. It kind of made
well,
me cringe.
I would like to slip off into the crowd and stealthily make my way over to Ari's table.
Okay. Okay, so this is going to require 2 checks, given that it is packed as hell over there,
Mhm.
and you're trying to be quiet or like unseen. So I will first need an acrobatics check.
9.
Okay,
What is with your shitty
then-
rolls?
and then I will need a stealth check.
Give your dice a bath.
17.
There you go.
17. Okay. Okay. As you start moving in between the crowd a little bit, you keep low, just to kind of try to, I guess, keep yourself as hidden as possible. You do kind of bump into a couple people along the way. One of which is a human male who had awoken from the bar and was stumbling towards the stage to watch the show. As he was taking a drink out of his tankard, you kind of bumped his arm, so his ale just spilled all over his face. Doesn't really make much of a commotion, though. But you do manage to get close to Ari's table. And you can see that he is just essentially sitting there, just soaking in the echo chamber of love that is his entourage.
I'm watching him. Do I notice either anything like moving in his pockets or potentially notice a little light that's darting in and out of the people that he's talking to?
Make me a perception check.
21.
Okay. With a 21, you're satisfied in where you're at, that he's not like directly looking at you, like you're well hidden. And you can see under the collar of the shirt that sort of pokes up over the doublet, you can see teeny little humanoid looking thing hiding under the collar, as he just gives off this air of thank you. And you can see that. Actually, make me an insight check real quick.
Miss Jackson.
Miss Jackson, nice. You can see that he's giving off the thank you, yes, go on. And while he's doing that, you can also see that his lips are still kind of moving as he finishes speaking, as he is talking to the pixie that is under his collar.
Can I see any of my group mates from where I'm at?
Okay, so if okay, so stage, bulk of the crowd, Ari's table over here. Dermot was kind of over here in this region, and then everybody else was like in the far back corner, like ish, from where the stage was. So you can look and you can kind of see through the crowd as they're mingling and moving about. You can kind of see where your compatriots are, but you don't have like a clear view on anybody.
Hmm. I will reach behind myself and kind of like try to seem like I'm adjusting my sword, but as I do that, I flip Gladius over in the scabbard so that his hilt is like right here above my
Mhm.
neck.
Mm-hmm.
Gladius,
Yes, my darling.
you see that little creature on his shoulder?
You.
And I'll like shift over, like,
It's a weird sensation, but you could swear for a hot second that you heard as the hilt was trying to lean in. I think I do. What is that?
I suspect it's a, I don't know, a fairy of some sort from the Feywild.
Ugh, yuck. Never touched the stuff.
Dermot is insulted by that.
A little racist, but okay.
I will.
Dermot
go
is
ahead.
an advertisement for the good things about the Feywild. So
Keep your eye on the creature.
As you wish.
Now move a little closer and see if I can hear, if possible, because I know it's noisy in there, what the creature, if the creature is talking to him, like based on what you said I saw before, it seems like he's talking to the creature. And if I notice anything of importance.
I will say your stealth is a 17, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Make me a perception check again.
That's not gonna do it. That was a natural 1.
Natty
So
one. Okay. You don't get any words of conversation, but as you do approach, you do see a glimpse of something else under the collar, but you can't quite tell what it is. Basically, the pixie like gestures towards it, but that's really all that you could really gauge. And as you approach, you get real close, and Gladius says, "I think I see something of Dermot's under the collar. I can't remember where he got it. Was a red gem.
see the gem.
Yes, it looked. If I recall, it looked like it was encased in something. I believe that pixie, that rat pixie, may have stolen it off of our compatriot."
May not end well, Gladius, but I will straighten up and stop trying to stealth.
Okay.
And I go up to Ori as if I am a fan. And I pat him on the back, like right where I saw the fairy talking to him, and just go up and say, I just wanted to come over and congratulate you on such a wonderful performance. And as I do that, I try to grab the fairy.
Okay. Make me a sleight of hand check. Oh, I love this. This is awesome.
Oh God, I'm scared of all my dice.
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons.
Where you fear bits of plastic and metal.
Yep.
22.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And I'm like loudly speaking to him, trying to make it like, a hard pat on the back, like from somebody in a bar that's like having some drinks and all that.
Sure. You approach, and as you pat him on the back, like right by that shoulder, you see he instinctively like, thank you. And with your 22, as you pat and then slide and grab, you are satisfied that you have something that you whisk into your pocket and hold it closed.
I keep my hand in my pocket too, like holding on to
Yeah.
it.
You are confident that you grabbed the gem, and you definitely feel something wiggling.
A handful of pixie.
Thank you. I'm very charmed. I apologize. I was taken aback by your beauty. I normally don't stammer this much, but I appreciate the compliment. What is your name, my dear?
My name,
Yes,
Astrid.
Astrid. Wonderful name.
I think so.
I believe I should probably work that into my next piece.
And I'll kind of like just smile at him, and I'll kind of just like reach out and give his mohawk, you said it was, or whatever.
Yeah, he's got like a sandy, like blonde brownish hair that's like kept in a nice.
I'll kind of like twirl a lock of it around my finger and pull it out and just say, I look forward to it. I just wanted to say that I enjoyed your performance.
Make me a deception check.
Oh God, what was that? I'm gonna re-roll it because I knocked my dice when I went to pick it
That's
up.
okay. I
didn't see
trust
it.
you.
It's, 18.
18. Okay. You definitely get a, well, I will definitely be looking forward to performing for you again in the future, should the fates align.
And I'll just like smirk at him, be like this. And I will make my way back to the table. I'm not trying to stealth through. Like, I will just kind of push my way New York style through the crowd.
All right. As you do, Ever the comedian, the human male, having successfully gotten another
Oh
tankard,
no.
starts making his way back towards the crowd and takes another drink. And this time, you walk and you like accidentally shoulder check him, so he lurches forward and spills his drink on somebody else.
Oh no, my cabbages.
But you do make your way back to the table.
I, gripping the wiggly pixie in my hand and what I know to be Dermot's gem, I take my hand out of my pocket and I will like very carefully like open my fingers, just pull the gem out, and I'll drop it on the table in front of Dermot. I believe this is yours, Dermot.
Oh.
And then I'll hold up the pixie, like just holding it like so that like it's maybe like shoulders and like head are out the top of my hand, right?
Yeah.
And I believe this is what you saw.
I mean,
Pixie, alright.
Somehow, my dear, I don't think you're innocent.
Well, that's assuming. I mean, that's, that is, I demand a trial by combat.
I could just
You're
flip
gonna
you
rush these,
upside
like-
down and shake out your pockets too. How would you like that?
Don't I hate it when people do that?
I'm sorry, dear, but it looks like you've already.
Please don't do that. I hate it when people do that.
Well, if I did that, what would I find?
Nothing special.
I found my friend's gem in there, and that was plenty special.
Technically speaking, you found that next to me. That wasn't in my pocket.
Enough of the pixie tricks. Faraday says in Sylvan.
Ooh.
And you see her expression go from shock to recognition. And in Sylvan, nice to see his pet still roams these lands.
I'm surprised he let you go free as well.
I go where I please.
I'm sure
Faraday,
he'd
you
argue
tell me
that.
if I should give her a squeeze.
Of course.
Please don't, I hate that.
Squeeze her a little harder.
You don't. You know what? Hold on.
You're gonna kill her. She's got like 5 hit points.
You ain't kill her. You just feel
Feel a little like
just
toothpick.
a little gross.
A little
But you
toothpick
do
break.
hear this very tiny,
Part.
hear this teeny little.
I don't like loosen my grip, but I definitely just
Ew, she farted in your hand.
It smells like flowers.
I thought she was gonna pee, so I don't know which is
Yeah.
worse.
At least you're only scared. At least you're only squeezing the farts out of her.
Oh,
Nothing else is
Jesus.
coming out.
right
Oh,
now.
Sorry, I had too much to drink.
That better not have been of substance.
I make no guarantees.
Wash my you snorted. That was a snorty snorterton.
Oh shit! I got tears in my eyes. Ugh. God damn. Okay. Whew.
You will answer my friend's questions.
Mm.
Okay, fine. Just okay.
I just look at Faraday. I think she
Right.
might have just shit in my hand, Faraday, but go on.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
I'm not proud. Okay.
It's
Are you kidding me?
"Oh,
I had the same thought. I'm less proud.
Yeah, but
of
I
that
went
fact.
with it.
He did.
Oh shit.
So Dermot looks at this little pixie
God.
Yeah, Sherman, just do it. Just
in Sylvan. Says, "So, what? You're here to keep an eye
Here,
on
pretend
us?"
this is the pixie."
there you go.
No, there's a little poop stain. You gotta put on the bottom.
Oh,
No, I actually didn't even know you were here. He's been searching for you, though. Enjoy that. No, I go where I want. I don't follow his orders. That is not my business.
Are you guys speaking like I don't speak Sylvan, so
They're saying this in common.
okay. Whose orders?
Oh, I was speaking in Sylvan.
Where whose orders? I mean, you haven't told them. Oh, how insulting! Oh, they're being watched carefully by Nova.
We actually have told them.
the Fae we
Right.
told you about.
We
And looking at Cat, the Fae we told you about. We hold no more secrets.
Whether our friends told us or not is none of your business.
Well, I go where I please, but I don't take orders from everybody.
You
And it
clearly
pleases you
take.
to steal.
Well, yes.
So is he your business partner? And Faraday kind of like.
We
Or
have
do you-
mutual interests. How about that?
So he tells you to steal from other people while he's distracting the group.
No, that's
And clearly you probably don't get equal parts of the take. I'm gonna guess
I-
you get 10%, equal size, equal measure.
a size joke. Wasn't expecting that.
The classics.
I have nothing to say to you.
What else did you
That's
steal from
okay.
people?
You don't have to tell her she's right.
I find many things as I am out and about.
I'm sure the masked man upstairs would love to know what you have in your pockets.
I mean, that would just be rude. And I think we have a nice understanding that we are not rude to one another.
Oh, I wouldn't be rude. My
We
friend
have
might
that
be rude, though.
understanding.
Yeah, she'll be rude.
What do you want? What do you want from me?
Want you to tell me what you stole from everybody in here.
A few baubles, ring or two, maybe a necklace. That one was pretty.
Can I still holding on to her, makes me look like an asshole, but I want to turn her upside down and shake her, trying to get the shit out of her pockets.
Like a salt shaker.
Yep, shake it like a salt shaker.
Oh wow.
Make me a dex check.
Not super great, but 10.
10.
Yeah.
You.
I'm not
take-
shaking her like crazy hard or anything, just kind of trying to be like, what's this jingle jangle in here, you know?
Yeah, I getcha. You shake a little bit, and nothing comes out.
Hmm.
You just hear as they
Hold
are
up the little. I'll hold her up to my eye length. Does he have it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That obviously means yes.
Faraday, you speak Feywild. Would you like to come with me to deal with this shiny little problem?
Sure, are we gonna go upstairs or are we gonna talk to her friend over there?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Sure.
Make my way back through the crowd.
I'll follow.
As you do, you hear the MC making their way onto the stage. This time, you see the figure of the White Duke joining them. As the MC go, ladies and gentlemen, a decision has been made. The winner of tonight's competition, Duke, and you see the White Duke. Yes, thank you. One Ari Jr. Congratulations on winning the competition. And everybody just erupts in applause. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a thing, but that's as everybody just roars and cheers. You see Ari stand up looking a little peeved, but they carry themselves well as they get on the stage. And the White Duke presents a violin bow with a golden string and hands it over to Ari, who graciously accepts.
How far away from the stage are we as he's like up there? I know
I'd
it started
say-
making our way to his table, but
I'd say you guys are about. This is a huge room, so I'd say about 20, 25 feet.
and I will yell at him, "Congratulations!"
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Do you want to be up there, Kat?
Cad, I need
Sure.
you to make an athletics check.
Oh my god, okay. 19.
19. Okay. You definitely feel in your hand the pixie trying to like muscle her way out or like squeeze through, and you just clutch down a little bit harder.
You want to be up there?
Yes.
Okay, step.
Oh shit.
I teleport Cad up to the stage.
Oh shit. Okay. In an explosion of beautiful colors, Cadriel appears on stage next to the White Duke, who kind of recoils a little bit, as does the MC and Ari.
Smirk at him. All of
I'll
them.
start making my way through the crowd then. Catch up to her.
I think that perhaps that bowstring should go to one more deserving. Somebody that didn't steal from everyone in here while they were performing.
You hear like gasps from the crowd everywhere. The entourage are like extra taken aback. The White Duke says, my apologies, darling, but that's quite an accusation. Do you have
Hold up
any...
the fairy.
And almost like a spotlight is like shown on your hand. You see
She was sitting beneath his collar with a gem stolen from my friend's bag. We saw, and I will kind of glance over at Arthea, like, I 100% trust Arthea with everything. Like, I have no doubt what she saw, like, knowing everything.
Hmm.
We saw this little creature slipping between the crowds as Hori was playing.
I suggest everyone check their pockets.
As you do, everybody's looking through, and Ari's like, White Duke, I do believe that it might be time for me to leave. I appreciate the and the Duke
Draw
holds up
Gladius
a
and
hand.
pointed at him.
As White Duke holds up a hand, you hear this beautiful note be sung. And you watch as Ari goes, and you watch his form stop. And you can definitely see people in the crowd start realizing that they've been robbed. And they all start shouting at Ari as he is now literally stuck facing this crowd of people wanting his head.
What was it you
Like-
said, creature? Because I don't know the fairy's name, calling it creature.
Probably won't give you a real one anyway.
About bits and baubles and rings.
Joke.
Squeeze a little bit.
Now you feel something there.
Oh no.
Something starts to ooze out from
Ew.
I'll wipe it on Ari's sleeve.
Yeah, and he's old person. The White Duke raises his hand, and the crowd quiets down a little bit. Annabella, would you fetch some of the guards, please? And you see the red-haired lady is already like making her way to the door, and she's waving down some guards. And within a few moments, two of the what were the names of the guards in Amon? I totally forgot. I should know this. Whatever.
Thing one and thing
someone-
two.
Thing one and thing two.
Tweedledee and Tweedledee.
It wasn't the
Uh,
no, that's Vasselheim's the dragon shields.
There are two guards that make their way inside
Scalp.
and sort of start pushing their way through the crowd towards the stage. And the White Duke says, please inspect this perpetrator who has been caught stealing from everybody in this bar. And you see he reaches over and plucks the bow out of his hand. I believe that this one is an accomplice, and gestures towards your hand, Cad.
I just point to the fairy, like, not me, the thing here.
The one of the guards sort of holds on to Ari's arms and then sort of gestures to the White Duke, who lets go of the spell, and Ari is immediately clapped in irons. The other guard approaches you, Cad, and says,
Suggest perhaps a jar or a little cage or something.
reaches over and grabs the now empty tankard from the human male, who has somehow made his way towards the stage, and says, all right, put her in here and I'll just carry her in here.
Before I do that, I look at the little creature. If you ever get back to the Feywild, you better not utter a single word to him about my friends. I will find you.
Make an intimidation check.
Great. 11.
11? Okay. You definitely see her eyes water a little bit. She says, okay.
And I kind of like drop her in, but like you're trying to shake something off your hand, also because you crapped on me.
You
And like wipe it on the room with the glass.
Yeah. You toss her in, and the guard pops his hand over the top of the tankard. Okay, this is new for me. Thank you very much for your assistance, citizen.
I suggest
And then-
putting something heavy on top of that.
Good call. I will figure that out in the meantime. And you see that they start making their way out, and Ari he's getting food thrown at him, he's getting drinks thrown in his face, and all the while, as he does, he's turning and glaring at Cadriel as much as he can before he is pushed out of the bar.
I just give him a wink and wave.
After a few moments, the crowd still is raucous after this recent revelation, and the White Duke holds his hand up again.
I believe. I'm sorry, my dear. What was your name?
My name is Cadriel. Of course, if you ask him, he thinks it's Astrid, but I'm not in the habit of giving my name to people.
We all have our stage names. I believe Astrid pointed out something interesting, and that is that this should go to someone deserving. Dermot O'Ferry, make your way to the stage, please.
I hop up onto the stage, cast Prestidigitation on Cad's poo hand.
I pat Dermot on the shoulder.
And just say, it's the least I could do.
I just pat Dermot on the shoulder, give him a little wink, and then I step off the stage with the rest of our group.
Good. The White Duke holds the bow in two hands and says, "Congratulations on winning the competition fair and square, and also for not stealing anything from the crowd while doing it."
Low bar.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Not
I
with
mean,
the
like,
hearts
Thurston.
of the patrons.
Woo!
Including
I
yourself.
told you I know that guy.
Thurston keeps saying that there's like the same group that you keep telling that to, and they're like, "We get it, God." All right, Dustin, in your inventory, I would like you to mark that you have the bow of the White Duke.
Ooh,
When
that
you
sounds
are-
fancy.
very fancy.
When you are making, I will make the item, but just note somewhere and remind me to make the D&D item. When you are making a performance check by playing your violin, you're going to add 2 to your roll,
Dang.
and your spell attack or spell save DC, both of those features will go up by 2.
Shit.
That's fancy.
Real fancy.
You said +2 to my performance skill, use it, and +2 to my attack and save DC.
Yes, whenever you're casting a spell. It does require attunement. I should mention that too.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry.
Thank God I'm multi-classing into Artifice,
Yeah, it's true.
where
You
I'll
get
be
all
able to
extra slots.
tune to
It's so ridiculous. That's so fucked.
I mean, that's all they can do, so you gotta give them that.
The crowd applauds and cheers for you. And eventually, the White Duke turns and says, "Now, let's just continue the festivities without any more controversy, shall we?" And they produce a violin of their own. And along with another bow, they have multiple. And they begin playing. As Dermot, as the White Duke is playing, you can actually see on the balcony.
Before the White Duke starts playing, I ask if I can join him. I ask if we can join him.
The White Duke nods as they begin playing, and hope playing a rather popular song that you would know, so that you can join in. You don't even have to roll for it. It's a fantastic performance. Everyone's into it. And as you are dancing, and I'll say everybody at this point can look and see on the balcony that there is a dwarven woman wearing plate mail with long red hair that is like dancing with a tankard in her hand, and standing right next to her is a human woman with blonde hair with braids that come down her chest, wearing beautiful wizard robes, as she is laughing and clapping along as well. Cadriel, as you are witnessing the festivities and taking part, you get a tap on your shoulder.
You turn, and it is the human male that has had ale spilled on him. He has spilled it on other people. He's fallen asleep. Says, "Listen, I don't know what beef you have with me, but let me just say that I would like to call a truce, please. It's been a rough week. I hope I didn't offend you by existing. Can we just move past this?"
What's your name, sir?
My name is Evander Greycastle. I am the captain of a fabulous ship that I have lost, and I don't know where it went, and it's been a rough week.
How about I buy you a drink and we call it even?
Can I keep this one this time?
Yes.
Wonderful.
I'll just give him a gold and just say, get the biggest one you can find.
Thank you. And as he makes his way towards the bar, he trips and
Oh.
before he picks himself back up and crawls over to the bar.
It's my fault this time.
Cujo, tell me again what the name of the thief bard was.
Ari Jr. A-R-I and then Jr.
Okay. I'm making a note. Thief and rival bard.
While
Okay,
Dermot is
what-
playing,
Mhm.
I will lean over to Faraday and just say, I don't think you have to worry about her saying anything to you know who. I made a point of making sure that she wouldn't.
Thank you.
You told me that I could talk to you if I needed to.
I did.
Not right now, but there are some things you should know. You're not the only one that's got an eye kept on you.
I'm here. I'm here whenever you want to talk.
I'll look around the room. I'll look up at the two on the balcony. Back around the room. Not here.
Later.
Cujo, in the interest of fairness, I do cast Greater Image again, or Major Image.
Yeah.
And
Surprising no
I
one.
do cast Pyrotechnics again to give us a little bit of atmosphere.
The song ends beautifully. Everybody is just enjoying the shit out of the party. And as the song ends, the White Duke turns. Well, White Duke.
I raise my hand.
You are a very accomplished bard. I assume you've traveled from the Feywild, yes?
Born and raised.
Well, if you would ever grace the Bard's College in Western with your presence, I'd be delighted to have you.
I wish I had known. We've just come from Western.
Oh, well, if you ever find yourself back in town, by all means, let's meet, discuss tales of heroes and beautiful songs, and make a day of it.
What is your specialty at your college?
I suppose
I'm sure it's no surprise, but I lean towards the more glamorous.
I am a teacher of all flavors of storytelling. I'm the headmaster, actually, of the college itself, so my bardom, if you will, is multifaceted.
Indeed.
But I am a lover of the flash and the pomp and circumstance. I thoroughly appreciate that in a fellow performer. And he gives a bow.
Well, performance is 40% skill and 60% showmanship. And I tip my hat and give a bow myself.
It was a delight meeting you. But I'm afraid with the competition finished, I do have to head back to Western.
And fortunately, my compatriots and I have a bit more drinking to do today.
Well, be safe, be well. And hopefully we will run into each other again in the future.
Likewise.
And you see they step off of the stage and make their way towards the door.
And I step off the other side of the stage towards the bar.
As you do, you hear a voice in your head. That was a wonderful performance. It was full of twists and turns. We are on the balcony if you would like to discuss things.
Not knowing if I can reply to this message.
You can reply to this message.
I do
She's
say,
looking at you and recognizes the pause, and then you can reply to this message.
regardless, I will say, I will gather my my compatriots, and we will join you shortly. Thank you.
You don't get it, of course, because you can't. Reply. Reshi, by the way, is finished.
Oh,
with his
yeah.
last line, and he's working on another.
Uh-oh.
Because nobody monitored him.
Uh-oh.
Thurston, like,
I was
moves the
busy.
water closer.
Whose turn was it to watch?
Oh wait, no.
Didn't the water get spilled? It's probably
Yeah,
me.
the water did get spilled.
The water did get spilled. Then it's not my fault. There's no water.
I tried! It really wasn't intended for
The
Rishi.
bar is so far away.
Far away.
Before he takes a drink, can I kind of like pluck the glass out of his hand?
Why? It was.
You've had enough.
I would disagree.
And I just give him that look like,
All right, fine.
go up to the bar and ask for some water.
Okay. Kind of like, does the cartoony like slumps his shoulders and like trudges through the crowds.
He'll thank me later.
He'll eventually return. Same hunched look as he's got a wooden cup of water.
All right, now say the alphabet
Backwards.
backwards.
Which one?
Someone's a smarty pants. No, I'm just kidding.
Part of the training. So,
It would appear that Allura Vysoren is here and waiting for us.
Convenient.
Where are we supposed to meet her? And he like looks around at the chaos.
I can only hope and assume that it is a bit less chaotic on the second level.
Let's go then.
I will make sure Arthea comes with us because we're getting a storm and we have to go bring things off the balcony. So
oh no.
it's okay. But I'll loop my arm through Arthea's and say, "Come on."
Reshi will follow behind all of you just because he knows nobody in this big bar.
Poor guy. Been
But he
there.
will still be clutching his water, mostly because he doesn't want to get another one of those looks from Cad.
Just looking at him and go, "Drink it. You will thank me later."
I love water so much.
Yeah, you're going to love it when you don't feel like throwing up later and you don't have a headache.
Is that a thing? I always thought that was a myth.
It's a thing.
Oh, sweet child.
As we make our way upstairs, I turn to Cad and say, "So, who was that guy that you were talking to? You making new friends too?"
I might have accidentally run into him twice and made him spill his beer while that whole fairy incident was going on. I don't know who he is. He seemed like one of those sailor types. I bought him a drink and apologized.
Well, that's good. Did you get his name?
Evandrin? No, that's not. That's the guy from Good Girl.
You're close.
You're close.
Evander.
Evander Greycastle.
Evander Greycastle.
Wait, the Evander Greycastle?
Should I know him?
Famous pirate of the Osmond Sea? I don't know. I probably don't know who this guy is.
You read about him in stories.
Aravander? No, you haven't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stories abound of his great ineptitude.
Doesn't surprise me.
And then that sounds
judging-
much more epic than the reality.
Yeah.
I don't know. He seemed to be having quite a shit day. So
Wow.
a gold for a large drink is not a deal.
Well, at least you've made amends.
As you make your way to the balcony, you do see that there are two guards that look much more subtly dressed than the guards you saw walking from the street, and they instinctively look and look questioningly before Allura approaches. They're with me. It's all right. And the guards relax and gesture for you to continue. Allura leads you to their table, where you can see a dwarven woman in full plate mail, because she doesn't know how to fucking relax.
No.
Finishes downing a tankard before slamming it on the wooden table, and you hear it creak under the weight and under the power. Allura says, "My dear, that we can't keep buying tables at taverns if you keep destroying them." Ah, whatever. They got the money. Right. Please, if you will all sit. And there, you see that there are. This is a large table, so you can all sit comfortably.
So we're
And,
basically at the VIP section.
It's pretty much, yeah.
Much better. We should have come
yeah.
straight here, guys.
Yeah. You can definitely see that everybody on the balcony is a VIP. So there's some privacy. There's some booths in the corner. You do see a couple people dressed a little bit more fancy that have come to be a part of it. But
Thurston, we depend on you to get us into this section.
I didn't know the section existed.
Thurston.
Nallard of Westwood.
I apologize. I'm still learning the nobility in my new position. It's wonderful.
There are lots of us. No worries.
I'm learning that very quickly. If you'd all please take a seat. And as you sit at this large table, she actually takes out this figurine. It's of this twisted black obelisk, and she sort of places it in the center of the large round table. And as she murmurs an incantation, her eyes flash a little bit, and around the table, you see the image of the tavern around you kind of shimmer a little bit. And as she finishes the incantation, wonderful. This is a precaution to take. I understood the urgency of your tone in your message, so this will prevent any unwanted eyes or ears from taking part or hearing any bit of this conversation. You said that there was something with Gilmore.
Yes, and I actually turn to Reshi and say, perhaps you should sit at the bar for a moment.
And she goes, "Okay." And then they rise and they
And
walk.
only drink the water.
Dang it. And you hear that just as he passes through the shimmery veil, and then the sound of the rest of the bars is silenced.
Back to
Yes.
Thurston. Thurston and Arathea.
Oh. Well, which
I was
bit
with them
are
too.
we starting with, I suppose?
You see
Gilmore's
Dwarven
missing.
Lady Kima.
We'll lead with that
Other-
one.
We'll start with that.
Gilmore, yeah. Gilmore he's missing. Even his daughter hasn't been able to get a hold of him.
Seems strange.
He has been. He's been our patron, so to speak.
He is a fan
Seem-
of that sort of role.
And we were investigating some things that he directed us towards, and we haven't heard from him in a while.
In about a month, actually.
Odd. All right. Well, I unfortunately can't quite say that I keep solid tabs on the man. He does sort of run a business, and he's not assisting the council. What was he having you investigate?
I will pull out the copies of the ruins that we have.
And I will just
slide those across the table.
Yeah, and I'll say we've run across mentions of something called the Underplane, and one of the what was she? Arthea, Arcanist, astronomer in Western.
Latimer.
She
Stella.
Estella, she said something about the stars going out.
No, I unfortunately don't have the best communication with Miss Latimer. We used to run in similar circles as ability goes and wizardry goes. Typically, if she sees something, most likely it's something to consider. But I do know that she likes to embellish some of her findings from time to time. But that being said, you very clearly have some sort of evidence of something going wrong. The Underplane, this sounds familiar to me. There was this book, manuscript. We always referred to it as the Madman's Manuscript. It mentioned that. Was
Crikey.
yes, thank you.
Yeah, we were able to get a copy of it in Westron. And while some of it sounds mad, it's also unfortunately somewhat familiar. It's not the only place we've heard that word recently.
Though you say that Estella may embellish, the evidence that she found was enough to even intrigue Eskel. Yes, but he does not seem an easy
Can I
man
kill him now? No.
He does not seem an easy man to convince.
That's not all. It's not just her. We were in Tersfield. It's a little town that is escaping my brain right now. Jorn Village, yes. And making a trip out to their mine. And as you know, the Umber Hills aren't the kindest of places to be caught at night. I could understand what some of the whispers from the shadows were saying. They talked about the Underplane. Beware the Underplane, and they seemed afraid almost, and I don't know.
See, her hands are folded as she's very intently listening, and you can see her eyes sort of narrow as she's very clearly going over something in her mind.
Everything that we've at least come across this far, and everything that we brought to Gilmore before he went missing, seemed to point to some sort of imbalance growing imbalance. And things, and she kind of just tries to kind of pull the word out of the air. Uh, things bleeding through or pushing through or tearing through into this plane.
This, you have a copy of this manuscript with you, correct?
Do we have a copy, Thurston?
I feel like you guys had checked it out. Maybe you had.
Did they let us check it
Really?
out?
Yeah, I feel like it was like
I think they were
this
like,
is
really?
so rare. You oh okay, sure.
We
I
got an
thought we didn't.
interlibrary loan.
Yeah.
Flashback. You guys are in the library.
We read it, but I mean, I have notes from when the manuscript came in and we were reading it, but I didn't put down we took it.
I don't remember.
It was the Trienium,
Yeah.
mentioned a location called the Alexander, the existence of the underplane,
Mhm.
etc., and an
So-
island called Cordelia.
You had found this
I
in the
have.
Western Archive, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yes, but they pulled it in from elsewhere, I believe.
Yes, I'm not quite sure where the librarian was able to find it. It doesn't seem like it was even a complete manuscript either.
Right. As I understand, the manuscript it is split into three pieces. Enrin, for some strange reason, decided that his full work would belong to those who earned the knowledge. So as far as I can tell, his manuscript is split into three. There may be a way to discover the connection to everything if you were to find the other two pieces. With regards to Gilmore, there were swaths of time where he would be difficult to get a hold of. And that's not to say that this is one of those times, but you can see she's got something on her mind, but she's finding it difficult to say it.
Even Marin can't get a hold of him.
Speaking of Marin, Gilmore, I believe he's protecting her. At the end of one of these periods of time where he disappeared and none of us could find him, he returned with a child. And I promised that I would keep the majority of the details secret. But he had this presence about him that was of heartbreak, of worry. And initially, he offered this child to me to keep safe, but with my engagements with the council and with everything going on in Amman with the restoration, there was no way I was going to be able to keep this child safe. So I believe he took this child under his own wing, and in the span of only a few years, you've seen Marin.
Are you implying that Marin, adult Marin, has only been around for
A few years.
what she
Did you ever find out where Gilmore had gone during that time?
He would never be specific. He would say a land untouched by Exandria. But but he would never give details, and I could tell that by asking, it was increasing the tension in the conversation, and it never felt that he was secure having these talks.
How old would you say this child was when you first saw her?
No more than a year.
And how long ago was that?
5 years ago. Right after the battle with the Whispered One.
Adriel just stumbles
Do you
when
know?
you mention it.
Do you know of any significance that the city of Vasselheim has for Gilmore?
No, I would be shocked if he was allowed in their gates, given their distaste for arcane magics. But
Do they have a Cobalt reserve there?
yes, actually, the Cobalt Archive is housed there.
Was his last message to us? He said that he was going to go to them. I don't know if he didn't say if he was going to go to Westrun or where, but he said he was going to go to them to see if he could dig up more information on all this. Maybe they directed him to Vasselheim.
That's entirely possible.
We have been able to scry on him in a limited capacity, but it's never been able to show us his current location, only a place where he has recently been. And the last time we did this, it showed one of the gates of Vasselheim.
If he is searching for knowledge and is seeking to meet with the Cobalt Soul, then they do have an archive in their city gates. It is actually a vault. It's specifically kept away from Exandria, pardon my speaking, kept away from Taldore and Wildmount as a means of safeguarding items of power, documents, ancient writings, all manner of items.
The Cobalt Soul is all over Wildbound. This is a separate place from the rest of the Cobalt Soul.
It's true. I believe the reason that it is kept separate is political means. Wildmount and its neighboring nation of Jorhas have their tensions have been escalating for quite some time. It is assumed that war could be on their doorstep, but we unfortunately have our own wounds that we must heal from our last encounter. It could be possible that the Cobalt Soul is just choosing Vasselheim as an additional means of security.
I'm from Wildmount. I wasn't aware that they needed that security. Every Cobalt archive seems to be quite secure and locked down. I don't know.
Vasselheim is older.
I see.
I'm just saying that stuff that what we do know is that whatever this is, it's something that predates the calamity. We're going back
Could be.
thousands of years. If there's anything anywhere, that's potentially the only place it would be. Or buried in the earth somewhere.
You don't think that Marin has anything to do with what happened with the Whispered One, do you?
I don't know. I wish I could provide some sort of comfort, but I don't know. And
Out of respect for Sean's wishes, I never dared find out for myself. I trust Gilmore with my life. Vox Machina trusts Gilmore with their lives. So I never saw any reason to dig.
Person. I don't get the impression that she knows that she might be special.
I was inwardly hoping that Gilmore would have the conversation with her at some point, but I don't know.
A DM question.
Yeah.
Would I, Cadriel, have noticed the scars all over her body?
You definitely caught that there were. Make me a retroactive perception check. Because, like, you could see scars, right?
Yeah.
But there's a specific thing I want to see if you caught. I don't remember if you saw it.
17.
17.
Yeah.
And this flashes to your mind. You're thinking about Marin, thinking about what, you have this connection to her, whatever it is, you're not quite sure yet, but all this conversation gets you thinking about that morning after the big raucous party when you had woken up together.
Great party.
And now that it's been so long that the hangover is gone, mostly,
It sets in that you were cuddling with.
your audio
It's
cut out
dirty.
just as.
I said it sets in that you were cuddling with a 5-year-old.
That's dirty.
Oh.
Gross.
Say it, but yeah, I thought it.
No, that's awful.
You remember seeing a glimpse of a line of runes that were going down her spine. What those runes were specifically, that does escape your memory, but you remember seeing something in addition to the scars all over her body.
He has rune marks and scars all over her body.
Ruins like the ones we've seen.
I can't remember. It's isn't the best of mornings, but there are runes down her back.
Let me do some research on my side. I apologize. I know that this is. I know how dire that it must feel for you. I can offer my support in a research capacity and a networking capacity in verifying more information. Perhaps maybe Seeker Assume might have some more information on what's going on. I would need to look further into this.
Not just dire for us. I know you said she was she embellishes a little bit, but I don't. Everything we've seen in the last several months would indicate that Estella is not embellishing at all. The idea of this plane being consumed by chaos is. It's not just us that's in danger, it's everybody.
Not really consumed, more like kind of annihilated. Some things are not really supposed to meet.
Let me see what I can do. I will keep
Mm.
communication with you as best I can.
The lad that came up here with us is being sent to the water Ashari as well. Something about a tsunami and city going under. So
I can see what information I can gather in that regard as well. I can assist the boy if you prefer.
I mean, I think you'd be babysitting him more than assisting him. But
Like, Kima's like, great.
you can
I'm
perhaps
sure
scare him into
the-
shape.
I'm sure once the young apprentice finds his way, he'll hopefully know what to do to be of assistance wherever he needs to be.
I hope so, says Kima.
I look at the rest of the group and say, I think we can facilitate it that much. But in looking back at Allura, the whole end of the world was a bit beyond us, and if you think, as strange as it may be, if you think Gilmore is okay and is likely to have been receiving our message, then I think we've done all we can do.
There's a hesitancy in your tone when you say it is beyond you. There was a group of adventurers that I believed at any point would meet their untimely demise on any venture they went on. They were notoriously disorganized. They were loud. They made a scene. They had a lot of friends, just as many enemies. And also had a similar outlook. But they ended up being the saviors of Exandria. So while I understand that the cosmic entities can sometimes seem not in your ballpark, don't doubt yourself. If anything, you all are just as knowledgeable about this issue than, well, actually, you share the same, well, a lot of the same knowledge that Gilmore does. If Gilmore knows what's going on and is deliberately not replying to your methods of communication, that to me is a red flag. I know you might not wish to embark on such a journey, but the journey found you. What you do next is up to you. Just know that sometimes we can't rely on others to solve a problem. And I mean that with all the respect.
I appreciate it, though I think you misunderstand me slightly.
Well, let me research what I can. I will see if I can reignite the working relationship with myself and Miss Latimer. And she gestures to the copies of the runes. May I borrow these?
And she'll just kind of push them across the table. And also, oh god, how much time has passed? How much time has passed since we were actually in Westron?
It's been a few hours at this point, so I'm gonna say, with the party, with the performance, with all that shenanigans, I will say it's about like 4 p.m.
Okay, no. So I mean, it's my brain is just a little.
There's a lot that's happened in the last 24 hours.
Yeah. It's mostly reconciled, like actual time versus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, it's been less than a day. Then no, she is not going to hand over notes because she has not had a chance to actually read them.
Okay.
But the ruins, yes, she will push those across because she has many copies of those.
Okay.
I don't even know where we would start.
start with the book.
You mentioned that the manuscript was split. Have you heard of any other locations of the other pieces?
If I recall correctly, in the stories of Enrin, he was a lover of elves. And you might have some luck, possibly in Singorn.
Stella mentioned that he was supposed to, or at least thought to have gone to the Feywild. I guess that was speculation.
It's entirely possible. I mean, Singorn does sort of come and go between the Feywild and material plane as it wishes, I should say.
We know how to find out if it's currently here.
I believe it's actually turning of the season, so Kima? And Kima's right. Do you recall how long it's supposed to linger for? Typically it's whenever the season changes, maybe a month or so. Well, it's lingering for at least a month. We believe. We can't guarantee this is off the top of our heads, but
It's not going to leave us much time to get there. I'll look at Faraday and Dermot. If you should go now before it retreats to the Feywild.
is there anything else that I can do? Any other questions you might have? Any other pieces?
Should we get a hold of you? Or how should you get a hold of us?
Actually, I do keep this on me for some reason. And Kima goes, yeah, it's fucking weird. Pulls out a hand mirror, and she slides it across the table. Upon revealing your face, it will alert me that you wish to communicate, and I have a similar one, so we can communicate freely through the mirror.
All right.
That is a delightful.
I know we've asked a lot of you today. Is there any way that you could speed up our travel to Singorn, if possible?
Are we sure after what happened last time?
We don't know that we have another choice at this point.
Yeah, how long would travel, like, on foot or carriage, whatever, between, like, either Amon and Singorn or Western and Singorn be?
It's
Those are
pretty
probably, like,
far. Like,
pretty-
it's real far.
I would know. We would.
but they're probably
Provided
equal
Singorn is
distance.
actually.
You're cutting out, Dustin.
You
Be in
cutting
here.
out.
Log
You cut
out,
and then you
Dustin.
try to swear.
Yeah,
End the
Discord is
call
like-
and come back. There you go.
Discord's been real bad about cutting
It's
out
been
lately.
real bad. And I can't spell Singorn to save my fucking life. Why do I keep wanting to add
There's
a
less
U?
letters than you think there is.
Yes! I add a U to it for some reason.
In my
Yeah.
brain, I keep doing that too.
It's
Isn't there
just,
sometimes
English,
why?
okay?
there's a Y.
It's an always Y on that
Sometimes
one.
It's an always Y. Every
Yeah.
single time.
You were to follow the road. There is a road that goes south and then around those mountains.
Yeah.
That is about, I want to say, close to like 3 or 4 weeks of travel straight, and that is without stopping.
I think it's far more than a month to get there then.
What about? Is there any way to travel directly there from here?
I mean,
I don't.
can we?
Is
I-
it something you can do? Oh God.
I mean,
I can attempt to contact an
a former colleague of mine to see if his teleportation circle is available. I can't guarantee the success of that, but let me see what I can do. How are you lingering in town? Are you getting a room here? What is the plan?
Can get a room. They seem
Or-
pretty
yeah.
full.
I think maybe at least for the night.
We need to. Yes.
Yeah.
Through.
No, I could. And Kima goes, no. What?
Bless
We're
you.
not using it. Yes, we were going to. But this is like end of the world circumstances.
Seems to happen like every few years.
Yeah. You know.
Kima reaches into her armor and pulls out a key. Places it on the table. And she looks right at Thurston. I get that back tomorrow.
But of course, I mean, but we would not wish to put you out if this is a problem. I'm sure we
It's
can.
already
find
on the table.
Okay.
If I take it back, she won't forgive me.
Okay. Well, I will see that it is returned. Thank you.
Laura says, "Thank you, Kima. That is the key to our room. We actually have a permanent residence inside this inn. Please try to keep it as tidy as possible, but it should be enough to accommodate all of you."
Thank you.
It is very generous. We appreciate the offer.
We will leave it in better condition than when it was found.
Kima goes, "Damn it. Just don't go digging through things, please."
Oh, of course not. And Thurston kind of like eyes Dermot. Of course not.
Oh, Faraday.
Right, right. Season is changing. Maybe Thurston hasn't realized that he also needs to watch both of them.
Aurora,
There's a little bit of cat in there too.
she puts one hand
It's not
hand
rude.
over her face, and she's like, "That is the least subtle thing you've ever said, Kima."
I doubt that.
We all have our private treasures.
Anyway,
Don't know
she's
how to make this
she's
moment not
blushing.
awkward.
Don't
There's no
try.
way really to proceed past this, huh?
I got shit on by a fairy earlier.
Uh,
Just changing the subject.
We're so bad at this. So bad.
I'm going to go to my tower so I can begin researching, and I will let you know what my colleague says. I will see what I can do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna, and she reaches and
You know,
grasps.
we could just pretend the last part of this didn't happen. We will keep your room very tidy.
Thank you very much. She kind of elbows Kima, who kind of giggles, and then she picks up the statuette, and the shimmer that was around the table slowly fades, and the boisterous environment that you found yourselves in previously has returned. Well, shall we, Kima? And Kima says, yeah. She finishes her tankard, and then looks at Thurston again. Oh, it's bad. Is Rose's camera?
Rose's
slowing
camera
down?
is-
I'm giving Rhodes a death glare, and it's frozen on her.
Did we lose Rhodes?
We may have lost Rhodes.
I
Did we?
think we lost roads. I think Discord is telling us it's 9:30.
Yeah.
Oh. As they're walking away, Faraday will yell kind of over the crowd at Kima, "I like your armor!"
Kima will turn as they're walking, and then eyes you. And goes, "Huh. Thanks for the compliment, champ." And then starts
Damn.
walking through with Alora. you all, just for the sake of time, you all make your way to the room and find that it's like the biggest hotel suite that you've ever laid eyes on. Oh, Rhodes.
Oh no.
Um,
I think your internet probably took a shit.
yeah. And Rhodes, is you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I guess it was my turn for Discord to decide to shit on. Cool.
Yay!
Like, I left, and then I tried to click back into it, and it was like, the voice channel is full. And I was like, I don't understand.
Lies.
Thing.
So cool.
You guys all find yourselves in the hotel suite that is Allura and Kima's room. And that is where we're going to call tonight's session.
Yay.
Yay!
Hooray.
Thurston is very happy to be staying in a nice place. Yay.
Although if one
Sigh of
says bed,
relief.
so you have to figure out who's staying in the bed and who's staying on the floor. Yay!
Even the floor in this hotel is probably better than the beds he's had to sleep in lately, other than
Yeah.
when he was at
It's
home.
true.
Yeah,
No,
you
absolutely.
sleeping in like a bale of hay fields is probably the funniest thing. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. Well, to everybody who tuned in, thank you so much. We love you.
Yes.
And we will be back next week for more decisions.
Yes.
But until then, we love you. Be nice to each other, and we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.